and welcome back to the video, and holy shit.
Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
But all in all, though, this movie is fantastic. It's a breath of fresh air for the MCU, especially now. It's not a nice shot in the vein, you know, just to invigorate you. Bro, everything, bro. From just the opening sequence, like on my Instagram, bro. It's just nothing but fucking a Bye 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 song just playing and everyone doing like different memes about it. So that opening scene, though, with like him like digging up Logan's remains, I never in a million years thought that was how it was gonna open or they were even gonna touch that. But I had a lot of moments like that where it was just like, it just shocked me. Like I was like, what am I watching? How is this allowed? From like the jokes, from like the cameos, the characters that they were able to bring in this bitch, and from just like some of like just the scenes and shit like that. Like it's just how like the action sequences, man, from like Deadpool versus Wolverine, Deadpool versus the TVA, Deadpool versus other Deadpools. It's just so good. I've seen some people complain about the Deadpool versus the Deadpool core fight, and I do agree that like it's hard to make out Deadpool. It's kind of an unnecessary thing. Like that's like a negative, which I'll get into like the negatives, but like that fight sequence with like, I love long one takes, and that was just a beautiful one, even if it was hard to see like the main Deadpool. But all in all, the action sequences in this movie, bro, phenomenal. Like 9 out of 10 for the fight scenes, dude. My favorite fight scene is Deadpool versus Wolverine, obviously, in the van. Like that whole like the enclosed space and them like just moving all around the van, you know, the music playing over it. It's just so freaking good, dude. It's just such a, it just works so well. Speaking of Wolverine, Hugh Jackman bringing the goat back, a lot of people were nervous about this, but no, I don't think Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds or the Wolverine character has been ruined because of the movie. I think it's just been amplified and just shows why Hugh Jackman is the guy when it comes to Wolverine, because his performance, I do think it is very different from his performance from like the Fox X-Men universe. Like subtly, it's a different sauce, and bro, that sauce is just spicy because it's so freaking good. Because my god, Hugh Jackman, man, he just continues to bring his A game, and it is so good. Of course, we gotta talk about the costume. 10 out of 10. I do agree though that when he does get the sleeves ripped off, they did keep the shoulder pads, but man, that's just a nitpick. I don't give a fuck. It still looks fucking beautiful. And the mask, we finally got the mask. The long take really definitely helps me really absorb the mask. But yeah, that mask looks great. And also, this movie's just fucking hilarious.
That's no cap.
I feel like this movie, like, it's more cylinders than the first two when it comes to the joke. I'm freaking laughing at like everything, and not even like laughing where I need to replay it because I need to laugh again because it's so funny, dude. 9.5 out of 10. The jokes I understood and I get, and I less laugh. My favorite joke in this movie, legitimately, when Deadpool is talking to Nice Pool and he calls him Van Wilder, and he's like, I can break the fourth wall too, and he just turns to the camera and he says,
the proposal.
and then Deadpool's like, don't you think that's what I do? Like, that's my favorite fucking joke in the movie. I replay that all the time. I legit have it saved in my liked videos because I just love replaying that. It's my favorite joke. I've seen some people say that this movie might get dated easier than like the first two because of like, he says like, let him cook. I know in the marketing he said no cap, but I don't know if he said, I don't think he said it in the movie. Oh, he says like, I don't want the smoke when he's talking to Cassandra Nova. And there is some jokes that I feel like might go over people's head, like the Daredevil Elektra joke. That was also pretty funny, but I get people don't really get it because that was like, you know. But overall, man, this movie, bro, I feel like it was just so much more funnier than the previous two. Like the first two are funny, but like this one is just on another level of jokes, dude. Let's talk about like a weak thing. Cassandra Nova. It's a big problem with the MCU. You know, sometimes they have a fantastic villain, and other times they just got a forgettable villain. It just happens. Not everyone could be, you know, a Loki or a Thanos. But Cassandra Nova did have her moments though. Like she had her moments, like, bro, her powers were she the way she can like go into your mind, but she has to actually like touch your mind. And she's like when she was touching Paradox, and like you can see like when she like rolls her eye underneath his face, and his eye rolls, and then like her fingers are poking out his nose. Never seen like, what was it, telepathy in that way, and holy shit, did it look very freaky and awesome. I love that. All in all, I think Paradox was low-key a better villain than she was. I don't know, maybe he was just more involved. Like she was just like there realistically. Like she had her moments, and like the flick the bean thing she said was funny, and again like the way her powers work was interesting, but overall I just think she wasn't really present. Let's talk about the cameos, because I love cameos like this. Like I think Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness did it the same as this, just not as crazy, where they bring in cameos that one fit the story. Like they're not just there like, oh my god, I know that guy, or you can easily tell that they just got paid to just show up for like a few seconds on like a blue screen and that's it. That these feel like more than just cameos. Like they feel like supporting roles, and that one, they fit the story. They're not here just to show up for like a ooh and ah. Here that makes sense story wise, and I love cameos like that. Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Arrowverse like crossover, they fucked it up. All their cameos just felt like they were just able to to get them. Like, just paid act. What actors could we pay to show for them to show up? They actually never serve the story. But here in Deadpool Wolverine, every single cameo serves the story. And that's why they feel like more than just cameos. My favorite cameo, though, honestly, I'm gonna say Gambit, because I love Channing Tatum. Hearing like the backstory of like how he got done dirty back then, it's just sad, but also seeing him in the movie just portraying it so perfectly was just awesome, and the action sequences he had was awesome. But Jennifer Garner's Elektra and Laura X-23 were awesome, but also Blade, Wesley Snipes, was one of the most shocking ones. Like, all the cameos, even Gambit, were all, I could like expect them to show up. I was actually expecting even more cameos, but from what I was given, Blade was the only one that I was like, what? They did that? But I was also like, Blade was just like not one that I would ever show up. Not even just because of Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds like old beef, but just because it was like Blade. Like, that's just a wild card. But that's the great thing about, you know, about stuff like this. But of course, seeing Chris Evans as Johnny Storm is fucking great. I love those early 2000s fantastic movies, but like guilty pleasures. I don't think they're as bad as people say they are. The one cameo I'm kind of disappointed with is X-23. Like, I feel like everyone like served their part, and X-23 did. I don't know, I just feel like she was just not as utilized more as I was kind of hoping she would be. Even in the fight at the compound, I feel like that's the fight that I think is the weakest, because when it was just kind of was like a little bit more shaky, not as like choreographed right, in my opinion. Also, if they were gonna do a one take for anything, I was hoping it would be there. Like, they do like an Avengers style like one take, so we get like Blade, then Elektra, then Gambit, then Wolverine, Deadpool, then Laura. And I was really hoping, because I kind of knew Laura was gonna be, and even before the trailer, like, I knew Laura was gonna be in the movie, and I was hoping like there would be like a Wolverine and Laura team up fight scene like we got in Logan, where like her jumping on his back and shit. We didn't get that. I was kind of like, fuck, you know. But this movie is definitely a better version of Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, good movie number one, but this one definitely like holds like the Madness in the Multiverse title better. And this movie still has heart. This movie still has soul. I do admit that it doesn't have as much heart and soul as like the first Deadpool does, but this shit still got that, you know. Deadpool trying to protect his family like he always does, like a G, and Wolverine able to accept Deadpool and love him, and you know, be there, and even almost sacrifice himself to save Deadpool. Overall, this movie is really great, and the story's great, the emotional center is great, but I do see the gigantic plot holes that timeline continuity just doesn't make any fucking sense if you think about it. They're bringing in anchor points, or anchor beings, or it's like if the anchor being dies, the whole universe slowly dies. So Logan from 2017, Logan was the anchor being of Earth 10005, and apparently the Fox movies like X-Men, X2, X-Men The Last Stand, those movies, essentially even like the prequels, was because technically they're in the same timeline as those movies, so those would also count. They're all in Earth 10005, including the Deadpools. So Logan was the anchor being of that universe. He died, and then that's what brings Paradox to be like, let's destroy this universe with the Time Ripper. But if you think about it, that doesn't make any fucking sense. One, like with obvious ones like Deadpool 2 having the cameo from like the old X-Men, or technically like the prequel X-Men. Like one, like Laura herself doesn't make any fucking sense, because it's like is that like the one from Logan 2017, just older, and she got pruned by the TVA? Why did she get pruned and not like Deadpool get pruned? Like, why didn't she get the option to go to the MCU, right? And then it's like at the end of the movie, like the thing is like the Wolverine that we follow through this movie from who was from a different universe, when they save the multiverse or the universes, right? And it's kind of I don't know if it's hinted at or established that he's technically now the new anchor being of this universe of 10005. That's cool. Doesn't make fucking sense, because then that means there's two Wolverines running around the universe now, because this movie takes place in 2024, 6 years after Deadpool 2, and that means it's in 2024. Logan dies in 2029. Right now in 2024, there's two Logans running around, so that also means that there's two Lauras running around the place too. There's two Logans right now. One's gonna die in 2029. Then that means Laura is gonna be around, and Laura doesn't die. And presumably, that means Laura's gonna continue growing up. There's gonna be two Lauras, one just much older. And then it's like the X-Men, and then it's like the world around them and the X-Men. So like, what X-Men do we have? That means we have like the Patrick Stewart X-Men, and then like the world itself has to slowly like go into the shit, because then Logan was in 2029, and it is a shithole. And then like in 2028, Charles Xavier kills all the X-Men. So it's like, this is another perfect ending, like Days of Future Past, that we know is not gonna end well. But maybe it's not gonna end anyway, because maybe in Avengers Doomsday, this 10005 is gonna have an incursion with 616, and everyone's gonna die fucking anyway. And then only certain characters from 10005 is gonna survive and then join the MCU, like Deadpool and Wolverine, maybe even Laura. That's my theory.
It's just a theory.
But just like on the surface level, though, if you don't go too deep, it sort of makes sense. But still, man, I can like move past that, because like Deadpool and Wolverine interacting with like this, with like the Void and everything, and the fight scenes, and I still think it works. I still think this movie is great. Even though the villain's a bit forgettable, story doesn't really has a bunch of plot holes, a bunch of just Swiss cheeses. I still think this movie is so fun and a love letter to Fox, and it has so much potential for the future of the MCU while not really setting up the MCU. Like, it's still a self-contained story. Honestly, if I had to give it a score, I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Let this man cook.
This movie fucks hard. Let me know down in the comments though what you think of Deadpool and Wolverine. If you like this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.